Hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for the first, I guess, proper episode of season number 2 of our FIFA 18 Wimbledon Road to Glory. Last time we were going through a ton of transfer activity, making some signings, setting up some signings as well, but today we'll be starting the actual championship campaign in our first game against Nottingham Forest and completing the majority of the month as well. It's going to be a very busy episode, so put your seatbelts on. You can see we already need to go into August. We've got like a solid 2 or 3 weeks before the first game of the season there against Forest. Then we've got Preston, QPR and Bolton in the league, and in the middle of all of that, a Carabao Cup tie up against Stevenage. We'll certainly get 4 out of the way, and hopefully a couple of transfers too. And speaking of transfers and getting them done, we have the opportunity to sign a new centre-back. Last episode, I gave you guys the chance to choose between 3 players that we negotiated with in terms of their clubs. Then we need to go in personal terms and sign them. And those 3 players were Dale Fry, the 20-year-old from Middlesbrough, John Soutar, the Scotsman playing for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League, and also Matt Clark playing a league below us in League One for Portsmouth. Now, Clark was the cheapest, Soutar was sort of in the middle, and Fry was the most expensive but has the best potential. And you guys overwhelmingly chose Dale Fry, the Middlesbrough centre-back, 60% of you going for him. So he is the guy we're going to have to enter negotiations with. So here we are in the manager's office, and Dale Fry and his agent are about to sit on down and start some negotiations. He's wanting 8,800, which is 700 above what he is on currently. I don't mind a signing bonus, that's absolutely fine, but that appearances bonus he is going to hit, and it's very high. So if he's going to hit an appearance bonus, I want it to not be that high. And we're going to drop it down to 100k. I realise he might not be overly happy with that. In that case, they're wanting more in terms of wages. It's a bit of a difficult one, really, because we don't have as much in wages as we did last episode. So they're holding out for 9,500. Doesn't look as if we're going to get any sort of snip on this one. Looks as if this is what we're going to have to pay. We'll have to work things out because obviously we do need to bring in a centre mid and a goalkeeper on loan. So in terms of the wages and transfer budget, we will have to possibly move that a little bit around. But it looks as if we're going to be bringing in Dale Fry, quite a costly one financially, but one that is going to help us massively in the future of this club. So Dale Fry then is going to be signing for AFC Wimbledon. He is going to be a Wimbledon legend for seasons to come. So here you have it, £2.9 million is the amount that we have to pay for Dale Fry's services, but I feel in the long run of the series it will be more than worth it. You can see his attributes here as well. You look at his defensive stats and they are very decent indeed. We're going to let him grow naturally just because his defensive stats are so good already in comparison to his overall, so I want his physicals to grow, which are slightly lacking. His strength isn't amazing, his stamina isn't absolutely out of this world, so hopefully we can get those up just by him growing on his own. But Dale Fry, really happy to have him in the side. That is probably one of the biggest signings we've made in the series so far. This is going to be a good signing. I'm happy to have him at the club. Well played to you guys for voting for him. So a little bit of training to start off proceedings here after that transfer of Dale Fry. You can see we're still training similar players, the likes of Florence, Visser, Taylor, and Toko. Visser as well has gone up to a 62, so nice to see him growing, or 63, sorry. Florence, you can see there is 68, good training session from him. Now recently I did a poll on Liam Trotter, and you guys said that, 81% of you even said that I should at least consider offers for Liam Trotter. He's obviously been quite influential for the series, but he is probably relatively expendable, given the amount of depth we've got. Aaron Bolger will be very good soon, and he'll probably take over the sort of role that Liam Trotter has. And obviously we've got Dozzell and Dean Parrott. We're hoping to bring in another centre mid at some point in this transfer window, so we can really negotiate for Liam Trotter. And we've got a bid of £500,000 from Blackburn, so we're going to bump it up to 800k. And see what we can get out of that. I'm begging he doesn't storm out of the room straight away. He's not happy with that, so clearly the AI, or Blackburn generally speaking, not okay with 800k. It's not a deal we have to do. That's the thing. We don't have to sell Liam Trotter, so I'd like to get good money out of him if we are going to see him out of the door. Alright, so we've got a bid here for Joe McDonnell, our very much backup goalkeeper, and it's actually well above his valuation when you think of it relatively speaking. Chesterfield coming in with a £250,000 bid, so 250k. We do need to bear bear in mind though, we do definitely need to bring in a goalkeeper in this window. Roy Carroll on his own really will not be enough, so we do need to bring someone in. We've got some scout reports back, and unfortunately it's a pretty shocking one as far as Finland is concerned. You can see our English scout has come back too. He is in Scotland at the moment, and he's actually brought back a decent potential player, but once again the overall is absolutely horrendous. We are however going to sign up Dave Walker. I think now that we're in the Championship, I'm going to go a little bit more extravagant with our scouting. We're not going to go to places like Brazil and Argentina and Australia, but I am going to send one of the scouts out to Ghana, and then Pekko Kuikkonen, we're going to set up a scout report for him, and we're going to keep him, I think, in, we'll go for England actually. We'll get Pekko out in England, a 6-month scouting trip there as well, which is a lot less expensive. You can see that's now left us with bang on pretty much £2 million and also 20k in wages, or 19k. Yeah, time to try and make a couple of signings. We need to bring in a goalkeeper and a centre mid. Now our youth academy isn't even actually that empty. We've got 7 players sitting here, a mix of English, Finnish and also Scottish players at the moment. Siltala isn't amazing, but Juho Koskinen's pretty much guaranteed to be at least 80. Turka Aino is likely to be, you know, at least on the border of 80. Same for Logan McDonald. Dave McCall is by far our most promising player. Not a bad overall as well. 51 isn't amazing, but it's not the worst in the world. And Morgan Shaw down here as well, who's obviously got a very decent overall, but his potential isn't amazing. We could obviously push him to 82. So there you can see confirmation that our third string maybe goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell, has been sold for 250k. So as you can see, we're now into negotiations. I'm not gonna lie, it's caught me slightly off guard because we're going in for a Brighton player, as you can see by the fact that Chris Hughton is stood here in the background. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory onto this one, because this is a very odd one. Christian Walton, I'd literally just recorded a segment where I was saying, unfortunately we're not going to be able to bring him in because I'd offered to loan him in and they just weren't having any of it. But then I just thought, well, okay, I'll test it and approach to buy, and it let me do that. It didn't let me loan him in because he'd recently joined, but it lets me bid for him permanently. There are better goalkeepers on my shortlist, I'm not going to lie to you, but they're worth quite a lot more, and we do really need a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers as well are an easy position to train players in, so his current valuation is only 1.1 mil. It's actually quite low, and he's only 22. Surely he's going to grow to like at least 78 or something. So let's test the waters a little bit. His current valuation is 1.1 mil. So let's try 900k. We'll see what Chris Hughton's saying about that old chestnut. Once again, I feel like I've been done because they've just jumped straight on it. I probably could have squeezed less money out of that deal, but apparently we're okay to bring in Christian Walton. All right, beautiful. Well, let's just jump into negotiations and see what we can do about it then. Now, for this one, unlike Dale Fry, I'm actually going to delegate the contract to my assistant manager. Someone told me it saves you money in the comments section, and I doubted it for a bit, but then I was like, hang on, I don't think they add signing bonuses and performance bonuses when you delegate the transfer, so I'm going to try that and see what goes down. His current wage is 11k, so why would I start it at 4.5? We'll start it at 10, because that's a pay cut. Yeah, don't go higher than 13 for sure. So there you have it then. Christian Walton has decided to accept that, and as I said at the start, fair play to whoever said that in the comment section, well done. We won't do it with every transfer because obviously we sometimes like to see the negotiations if it's a big transfer, but with some of the smaller ones I might start doing this a lot more regularly because I doubt there's going to be a bonus attached to this. Hopefully there isn't, although I will check it. Apparently it looks as if we're going to be bringing in Christian Walton as a new goalkeeper. I realise he's not 70 yet, but he is a massive improvement on Roy Carroll because A, he's 2 overall better, and he's going to grow higher realistically. He's only 1 lower than George Long, so we'll have to train him a little bit. It's still a good signing, and for only 900k, that seems like an absolute bargain. 3-year contract length, important first team player, not too bad whatsoever. So Christian Walton, a lot of you guys suggested him down in the comment section, so I assume you're relatively happy with this transfer. We're going to be bringing him in then as a new goalkeeper, so accept that offer, and Christian Walton has now joined from Brighton to Wimbledon, 69 overall, only 22 years of age. Not a bad value for money signing, I don't think that. So, and there you have it, our new boy stood in the press conference. Christian Walton has joined AFC Wimbledon for 900k. It'll be nice to see how he does in the side. He's obviously worse than George Long by 1 overall, but we could probably train him to be 70 by the end of the month realistically, and then build on that. He's younger than George Long, probably has a higher potential as well, and that obviously comes, as you can see, confirmation of the almost £3 million transfer for Dale Fry. So hopefully these two will have a positive effect on the side. And here is the side as things stand going into that championship campaign. Now, I realise it doesn't look absolutely unbelievable going into a championship season, and I realise hence it's going to be quite a struggle. We are definitely going to be avoiding the drop when it comes to sim games, but I'm hoping some of our played games might push us towards mid-table. But obviously the new boy Christian Walton, 69 overall, ignore that for a bit because I'm hoping by sort of the end of September he might even be 71 or 72 with some intense training on him. Florence, 68 at the moment, want him to be 69 relatively soon. Oshalard has gone up again. He is once again the highest rated player in the side, 72 overall for him, and Dale Fry has already gone up by 1 since signing. Some more 71 rated players are our wingers, Harvey Barnes on the right and De Silva Lopez here on the left, although I should probably swap them over because that's the positions they're meant to play. Dozel is 69, shouldn't be too long till he's 70 as well because he's a young guy. Lyle Taylor 67 and Joel Azoro 71. But another issue really with this side is depth. You look at some of the players and okay, yeah, Roy Carroll isn't a bad goalkeeper to have as a second choice in the championship. Darius Charles 66, not bad. Mackenzie 68, Bolger 64, but he performs a lot better than 64. But when you look at our backup striker and see that it's Joe Pigott going into a championship season that isn't exactly ideal, and you look at the reserves and it's barren of really anything above 62, and that's Kennedy, who's about to be sold hopefully. So this is it. It's time for us to embark on our championship campaign, our first venture into the second tier of English football as AFC Wimbledon since 2003-2004, I do believe, with the old Wimbledon. Now this is the side we are facing on the left hand side, Nottingham Forest here. The Notts Forest team is not actually that much better than ours. In terms of the side though, it is basically our strongest 11, or the one that I trust the most to get us going in a championship campaign. The likes of De Silva Lopez, Azoro, Dozel, Oshalard are the main men, but obviously making their competitive debuts in this one, the likes of Harvey Barnes, Dale Fry and Christian Walton. Oh man, I'm slightly apprehensive, slightly nervous because it's obviously a venture into the unknown. So it's Forest that will kick us off. Ben Brereton, who we know actually relatively well on this channel, of course. We signed him in Bournemouth career. Toko trying to play it through. He gets a little bit of luck and then finds Lyle Taylor. Still, Lyle Taylor goes for the shot there from distance, but it is wide. The first shot of our championship campaign. This is Bolger, nice turn from him. That's now into Joel Azoro, and it's straight at Smith. Taylor then tries to hook it back in, but Smith is there. Lyle Taylor was actually offside in the end. Brereton, who's got Nzuzi Toko for company. You just don't win against Nzuzi Toko. Oh, Toko putting a foot in, that was risky. Bridcut Clough, that's fallen through there to Brereton, but what a challenge. Last minute there from Dale Fry. That was very impressive from the ex-Middlesbrough man on his debut. And now we can try and start a counter-attack. Azoro putting that through now to Lyle Taylor. Out wide for Harvey Barnes. On his debut, can Harvey Barnes score? No, he cannot. Saved by Smith, by far the biggest chance of the game for the man in on loan from Leicester. I don't think we've actually played to the best of our abilities in this game, if I'm going to be honest with you. We've given Forest a good game, and I'm happy with that. At the end of the day, we're a newly promoted side, but in terms of what I know this side can do, we've wasted quite a few opportunities in good little positions to get through in on goal. Overall, relatively pleased, though, with our first venture into Championship football. I mean, it's a goalless first half. Silva Lopez there has won that in a good position and now can burst forward. That's into Lyle Taylor with the shot, and it is just wide. Oh, that's a big chance for Lyle Taylor to give us the lead there. The Silva Lopez had done really, really well and probably deserved an assist out of it. De Silva Lopez, Taylor now down the line, back to De Silva Lopez, who's been really involved going forward actually in this game. That's through now to Lyle Taylor. Lyle Taylor's in great space, and Lyle Taylor scores our first goal of the championship campaign. Beautiful stuff. He's just missed a great opportunity, and that is the way to repay the faith. De Silva Lopez again sort of setting it up, and it's a good bit of composure. He fires it in. Lyle Taylor is the first person to score in the championship. 1-0 up then against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. Turns past Bolger. Good ball into Clough, who's hit the post as well. Osborne on the ball. Great block, by Fry, and it'll fall to Walton. I'm not going to lie, I thought that was in. This happens a lot in this series where I just give up on the commentary because I thought we'd conceded. We don't, and now we're going forward on the counter-attack because here comes Lyle Taylor using his strength to get away from Manciem, but the ball is not a good one. Smith that was parried it. Surely that was there to be claimed. Armand Traore. That's through. Great little ball. What a block block. Oh my word. Florence, that's astonishing, my friend. That is unbelievable defending from Florence. I made the slide tackle happen. He's not going to take the full credit, but that is unbelievable. And then Florence hit his arm. I'm not going to lie. It would have been a penalty, but it's a block. It's amazing. Brid cut burst into the centre of midfield. That's a great ball through there to Clough, and again Walton is there to save. Poor shot really from Zach Clough. And with 10 minutes to go, both sides are going to take the opportunity to make some changes. Jorge Grant is coming on for Matty Cash. Both of those guys are on our shortlist, interestingly. And Rory McKenzie is coming on for Harvey Barnes. Dean Parrott is also coming on. Back to McKenzie again. That's now inside for Dozzell. Lyle Taylor over to Da Silva Lopez. Great save from Smith. Can we win it in the air? Dozzell doesn't, and it'll be cleared away by Armand Traore. Astonishing save there from Smith after some brilliant interchanging play. And now Nottingham Forest are coming on the counter-attack with Ben Brereton. Florence is going to have to go to him. He hasn't. Brereton's gone past Florence. The ball is in. Walton punches clear. It's centrally for Bridcut. That's now into Michael Mancien. The shot comes in. Walton plucks it out of the air. That is the end of the game. And it is a 1-0 victory on our championship debut up against Nottingham Forest. Your man of the match was Lyle Taylor, 9.2 rating for him, unsurprisingly, after getting the winning goal. Da Silva Lopez gets a 9 as well after getting the assist, and just playing generally a lot better going forward than we saw in League One. Alright, so we've got a bid here for Callum Kennedy. Why is he stood way in the background? Wherever he stood, it doesn't matter. We've got a bid for Callum Kennedy, 28 years of age, 62 overall, and the bid has come in from Northampton. We'll just negotiate. We're not going to spend too much on this one, but we're going to propose a new fee, and we're going to go with 260. Calm. Take it or leave it, my lad. Submit the offer. Look, listen. Look, Northampton representative. It's £100,000, lad. That all seemed very dramatic. Sorry, I'm just changing the kit numbers, and I've seen the oldest 17-year-old you've ever seen in your life. Kim O'Joel, we promoted from the Youth Academy last episode because he wanted to leave. Look at him. Have you ever seen a 17-year-old look like that before? Anyway, it's now time for the first simmed game of today's episode. There'll probably be 2 and 2 played ones. We're up against Stevenage away from home in the Carabao Cup. It should realistically be an easy victory, but I don't want to take any chances, so it is still a pretty damn strong side. But we've got a lot of firepower in comparison to Stevenage, and we're showing that off already as Darius Charles gets us even the first goal of the game. However, Stevenage have actually equalised there with Pet, so we'll be looking to try and grab a winner. We're making a bit of a hash of things at the moment, but Lyle Taylor has got us a goal again, so we're now leading 2-1. Can we please hold on to that victory? Indeed we can. A little bit closer than I would have liked, but Lyle Taylor grabs his second goal of the season. Darius Charles grabs another. And moving swiftly on from that sim game there in the League Cup, we now jump back into league activity as we face Preston North End in the second game of the championship season. Back to the normal, very good side. The only real changes are that Dean Parrott is in for Bolger and Darius Charles is in for, who is that, Florence. Oh man, I'm fully looking forward. I'm loving every game at the moment just because it's a new experience as well, innit? Oh, good interception there from Dean Parrott from the throw-in, and Dozzell then finds Joel Azoro. Lyle Taylor there with a great ball roll. He now use his pace to get away from the defenders. He'll try and find Joel Azoro. It's still Joel Azoro cutting back, then finding Da Silva Lopez, who went for a slide for some reason. Hugh Gill there has gone past his man far too easily. He's worked the space, but that is a wonderful save from Walton. Thankfully, Walton pulled out all the stops and saved us as Da Silva Lopez now sets up a counter-attack with Lyle Taylor. Can put the ball into the back post for Dozzell. What a block from Fisher. It wasn't even the goalkeeper. That's phenomenal defending. The defender was just in the right place at the right time, but a huge chance for us there. Now Joel Azoro, Andre Dozzell, who's got a little bit of space to let fly. Good save though from El Shanawi, and Fisher again. Some good play though, getting us into that position. Good passing from ourselves. Toko gets it back to Barnes, and now we can try and start another counter-attack here with Dozzell. Ball roll again, seeming very efficient here against Preston. Dozzell can play it through now to Joel Azoro, who can try and cut inside. It's Joel Azoro, saved by El Shanawi, but Andre Dozzell is there to stick it into an empty net, and we are 1-0 up again, this time after half an hour. It's another scrappy goal, but it doesn't matter, they all count, and Andre Dozzell has opened his account for the championship season. Again, great work from Dozzell to even start that move. Azoro found it far too easy to cut inside, and then Dozzell is is able to take one touch and put it into an empty net. Even manages to find the time to nutmeg the Preston defender in the process. Good stuff then from us, and just after half an hour we take the lead here against Preston. Harvey Barnes has somehow not won that in the air. But it doesn't matter because Oshalajah is there to step in. I'm very impressed with him. He's made a good jump into the championship. And now this is Dean Parrott to let fly from range. Great save from El Shanawi again. I can confirm that Harvey Barnes picked up an injury right at the end of that half, so the youngster in from Leicester might already be spending some time on the sidelines if he doesn't run that one off. Taylor trying to thread the eye of the needle, turns back. That's a great turn from Lyle Taylor. Oh, what a save! That would have been absolutely astonishing from Lyle Taylor. It was a great turn. Parrott back into Azoro again. Dozzell, lovely 1-2. This is Joel Azoro, and he's dragged it wide. It should be 2-0. That was a big opportunity from Joel Azoro after a wonderful 1-2. So Nzuzi Toko, now Lyle Taylor, that's Azoro, through to Toko, and it is a beautiful goal for AFC Wimbledon. Toko has finished it off. He doesn't score very often, but he's finished off an unbelievable move there. Quick passing play into Taylor, into Azoro, into Toko, and against the post and in. Actually started with Toko, Azoro playing it through. Lovely one-touch football. The little Congolese midfielder, who is an absolute tank in both League One and the Championship, seemingly, has got his first goal of the campaign. I can't imagine he'll get too many more, but we're here. We live in hope, I guess. Approaching the 90th minute now, this one really has just petered out into nothingness so far, although Preston are coming forward. Hasn't been dealt with. Molt with a beautiful strike, and it is 2-1. Just as I was saying, the final few minutes were petering out into nothingness. Molt has produced a wonderful strike, actually. Should have done better with that defensively. I think it was Dale Fry who stepped in. It is now Molt, the goal scorer. That's over towards, well, somebody. It doesn't matter who, because Darius Charles has won it back. Azoro now into Lyle Taylor, who can get away. He's got a lot of pace in his legs as Lyle Taylor. He's cut back as well. Lyle Taylor finishes the game. Beautiful finish from Lyle Taylor, and that is job done. Over to the home fans he goes. Lyle Taylor, what a start to the season he is having. Blasts it into the top corner, and the faint little bit of hope that Preston had is extinguished immediately. Smashed it beyond the reach of the Preston goalkeeper. Game over here then at Plough Lane, and we take a 2-goal victory, but 3-1 in the end. It was slightly nerve-wracking for about 20 seconds before Lyle Taylor ran up the other end of the pitch and managed to convert. Ratings-wise, Joel Azoro was your man of the match. 9.4 for him, but some phenomenal ratings elsewhere. 9.3 for Taylor, 9.1 for Dozzell, 9.2 for Toko, and a 9 rating as well for Darius Charles. So I guess it's not all good news, but at the same time, Harvey Barnes' injury isn't too bad at all. Only a bruised shoulder. He'll be out for 5 days, but that does mean he'll miss the next game up against QPR, which I think was 4 days after the Preston game. So just doing a bit of training here, and it really has been a good episode for Lyle Taylor, hasn't it? He's now up to 68. That hard work trying to get him towards 70 is starting to pay off. Hang on a second, that's a familiar face on the right hand side. Fikeo Tomori. He's decided he's not about this English life anymore. He's gone off to Aalborg over in Denmark. Phenomenal, £1 million. And so the final action in terms of games in this episode before we jump back into some more transfer activity is to face QPR away from home at Loftus Road. There is the side that will be facing them. It's pretty much our strongest side. We're going into this one obviously unbeaten in the league. That may end. I'd definitely take a draw. I know I spent the majority of the League One season saying I'd take a draw in this sim, but I certainly would away from home against a team like QPR. But I think that Oshalajah's got other ideas, mate. He's given us the lead after 34 minutes. On the hour mark, we're still 1-0 up. Joe Pigott has come on for Azoro. Vissa's now on. With 10 minutes to go, we're actually winning. We've actually won against QPR. How? How has that occurred? How have we managed to do that in a sim? But now it's time for you guys to get involved, because I've mentioned already in this episode we needed to bring in a specific amount or specific position into this side. We've already got a goalkeeper and we've already got a centre-back, which you guys chose at the end of last episode. Now it is time for you guys to choose once again, this time on a centre-mid for us to loan into the side, to try and plug in that gap that Aaron Bolger and Dean Parrott have been playing remain in, play in the side for a season until Aaron Bolger is up to a very decent overall, and then he can pretty much take over that position on his own, can the young Irishman. But until then, we'll need to loan in a player or potentially two, and I've located 4 Premier League players that we could try and do that with to plug in that holding midfield gap alongside Toko. The first of which is Scott McTominay, the Scotsman from Manchester United, who's really broken into the Red Devils starting 11 in real life. He starts off at 66 overall, so I assume by now he'll be about 68 or 69, but his wages are very, very high, the highest of anyone in this vote, so keep that in mind. The second player is Reece Oxford from West Ham United, another very decent player, slightly better I think in terms of overall and potential and cheaper wages. However, he's more of a very much holding midfielder, whereas McTominay would be more of a playmaker, so it really depends on what you think we need. Do we need another Toko, or do we need another Dean Parrott / Bolger? The third player is a little bit more of a holding man as well. It's another Leicester player. We've already seen Harvey Barnes through the door, but Hamza Chowdhury could join him as an AFC Wimbledon player for this season if you guys vote for him. Again, very similar overall to the likes of Oxford and McTominay, but more of a holding style for him. And then finally, the man with the cheapest wages and probably the second best potential actually out of all of them, although that doesn't matter too much because they're only in on loan. Sam Field from West Bromwich Albion is another player we could look to bring in this transfer window in on loan, and he's more of a passer playmaker style, maybe a bit more like McTominay in terms of his stats. So in the top right of the screen there'll be a poll and you guys can choose which player you would like me to sign. In terms of ratings, they're likely to be pretty even, but obviously I've talked about the pros and cons price wise and playing style wise for you guys to maybe make a decision, or just choose whoever your favourite player is that you'd like to see in the side. So that poll in the top right of the screen, whoever wins that will be bought at the start, or loaned even, at the start of the next episode. So a big chance for you guys to have a real influence on the next episode. Anyway, it's been an extremely profitable episode for us, not necessarily financially, but in terms of the table, we are the only team with a 100% record at the start of the championship campaign, and who would have predicted that? 9 points out of 9, 3 points clear of Brighton, who were relegated last season. I can't see that lasting, quite frankly, and if it continues, then obviously I need to make the sliders more difficult, because we should definitely not be winning the league this season. Also, you've already seen a poll in terms of transfers to make, but there's also going to be another poll now about player of the episode. In the top right of the screen, you can vote for whoever was the best player in today's video, and whoever wins that will play every single game of the next episode. But that is gonna wrap things up. It's been a monster of a recording for me. I've been going for 2 hours and I've got a headache, so it is time to end things up. If you've enjoyed this bumper-packed episode, I keep saying it at the moment, but every single episode seems to have all sorts of action in, then slap a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's the big red button under the video. It massively helps me out, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys did that. You can also now follow me on social media. My Twitter handle is @theofficialfng, links are down below, and my Instagram is exactly the same. But apart from that, it has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, Massappels. I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk off Henny and Fosters. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch f me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.